So, a brief history of, IBM. Okay. On June 16, 1911, three successful 19th century companies decided to merge, marking the beginnings of IBM history. The Tabulating Machine Company, the International Time Recording Company, and the Computing Scale Company of America joined together to incorporate and form one company, the Computing Tabulating Recording Company. In 1914, Thomas J. Watson Sr. joined CTR as CEO and held that title for the next 20 years, turning the company into a multinational entity. Entity. Is it entity or entity? There's no period. In 1924, Watson changed the company's name to International Business Machines Corporation, or IBM. From the beginning, IBM defined itself not by selling products which ranged from commercial scales to punch card tabulators, but by its research and development.
Although IBM was incorporated in the state of New York on June 16, 1911, as the Computing Tabulating Recording Company, CTR, its origins can be traced back to developments at the close of the 19th century. For example, the first dial recorder was invented by Dr. Alexander Day in 1888. And Day's business became one of the building blocks of CTR. Similarly, the Bundy Manufacturing Company was incorporated in 1889 as the first time recording company in the world. And it too later became a key component of CTR. Hollerith formed the Tabulating Machine Company in 1896. For more than 70 years, IBM and its predecessor companies produced timekeeping equipment for schools and businesses. Many of these products are considered collectibles today. Okay, we are doing the IBM Corporation. She's pro and I'm con. And one of the cons of this company is because the company is so old, it could be thought of as corrupt.
But even though it's so old, it has a good reputation, and it's a research-based company, so it strives to find new and simpler and more advanced ways of creating things and research. So that's good.
And the city that IBM was founded in, Endicott, suffered very harshly from pollution. The liquid cleaning agents for the circuit boards leaked out and created a huge pollution disaster for the town and caused a lot of pollution to the other surrounding towns.
Even though there was pollution caused by the cleaning agents, the town didn't have complete blame, as there was other factors contributing to the pollution, and they weren't held responsible for any long-lasting effects. They did a really good job of cleaning up after themselves, and there was other factories and stuff that were also to blame, not just them. Staff has flexible working hours and can even work from home if the option allows them to.
But although they get good wages, the financial difficulties can force an employee across seas to find work again, because a lot of the employees that are, say, here have, they've made them pretty much train their replacements, and so they have to go overseas to find these other new jobs because people are coming here and taking all their jobs.
In 1980, Hollerith's punch cards were used for the 1980 census. The U.S. Census Bureau contracts to use Herman Hollerith's punch card tabulating technology on the 1980 United States Census, reducing a 10-year process to 2 years and saving the government $5 million. Hollerith's punch cards became the tabulating industry standard for input for the next 70 years. Hollerith's Tabulating Machine Company is later merged into what became IBM.
But with these same Hollerith systems, Hitler was able to automate his persecution of the Jews. IBM technology was used to organize nearly everything in Germany and then Nazi Europe. From the identification of the Jews in censuses, registrations, and ancestral tracing programs to the running of railroads and organizing of concentration camp slave labor. IBM and its German subsidiary custom designed complex solutions one by one, anticipating the Reich's needs. They did not merely sell the machines and walk away. Instead, IBM leased these machines for high fees and became the sole source of the billions of punch cards Hitler needed. As well, these machines needed to be maintained by the company's men monthly.
But while IBM helped the Nazis, keeping record of how many Jews that were killed and whatnot, it was a job that had to be done, and so they did it, and it was actually really good for their own system. While it was something bad that is in their history, it's somebody had to do it.
Yeah, although it did benefit them financially, it isn't necessarily something you would like in your past to try and get future customers. So
apparently, helping Hitler is not good for
not really
public image. Oh. So how IBM treats its indigenous workers. IBM states on their webpage that IBM is committed to principles of business ethics and lawful conduct. It is IBM's policy to conduct itself ethically and lawfully in all matters and to maintain IBM's high standards of business integrity. So that's basically their motto. This is basically saying that they'll do whatever they have to, but only as long as it lines up with their business regimen. IBM is a multinational corporation. This means it operates all over the world. There's no racial discrimination, and the company also says that we'll do our best to place workers in a company where they are already located. So, they don't have to travel so far away to get a job. They can work in their own kind of area. So, a pro of that would be, everyone gets fair treatment, regardless of who they are.
But really, who's to say what fair treatment is? In fact, there was a couple years ago, there was a lawsuit placed against IBM because the employees were being overworked and not paid enough for their overtime hours, and so they ended up suing the company for I think they each ended up with $20,000 each or something like that, or $2,000 along those lines. And then the company said that they would get those missed wages back in other overtime payment that they would get. But once the workers were put back to work, they were... What happened? No, the company set it to only 40 hours a week, so there was no overtime, and so there was no possible way for them to get paid their overtime, and they got a 15% pay cut. Yeah. Okay, so political IBM things. IBM states that each and every worker there participates in politics as a single person, not as an IBMer or corporation. IBM does not give donations or anything as a corporation to any one political party. This ensures that IBM has loyalty all over the world at all of their business sites. IBM will do whatever they can to ensure that employee has time and space to do what they need in political life.
So a pro of that would be by not giving into one political party, the company isn't taking sides and can get everyone's business.
But at the same time, they could potentially lose some business because then people aren't necessarily clear on what sort of things the company really stands for. So,
okay. So social effects. This was kind of hard to find because they're not that sort of company. So pretty much it was mostly online stuff. So social. IBM employees are encouraged to have their own Twitter accounts, Facebook pages, blogs, etc., because they want the company to look friendly and an approachable place where everyone can be original and be who they are, because that's one of their main mottos. Our brand is shaped entirely on our public view and the interaction we have with our public, one employee stated as saying. The company lets the employees basically do whatever they want. They are not controlling of their people. They only ask that they follow a few guidelines, but they don't police all over like their employees. So they're not like stalking them and saying that like you can't say that, you can't do that. So a pro of that would be by leaving people to do their own thing socially, they are showing that their company is a friendly and approachable place to be.
But although that is true, that can be a negative thing in some ways because they're losing control somewhat of what workers or people can say about their company. And if they have an employee that doesn't agree with something that is going on, this person can use the internet in a negative way and could possibly make the company look awful and possibly like lose business.
Yay. Just keep going. That is our excellent debate and nerd resources. Put that backward. So really, it doesn't count because you can't read it.
What a shame.
Have
But
a
they're
good
there.
day.